At the beginning of the movie, we are taken to the city of Tokyo in Japan. Here, we are introduced to a young boy named Dark who is waiting for his mother to finish work. It is revealed that Dark and his mother are originally from America, but since Dark's father died, his mother chose to move to Japan and was forced to work as a prostitute to make ends meet. One night, Dark's mother receives a guest named Tashi, the eldest son of the highest-ranking Yakuza leader. Tashi behaves roughly and hurts Dark's mother. Unable to bear hearing his mother's screams from the next room, Dark grabs a hammer and attempts to stop Tashi. However, Dark's blow does not injure Tashi due to his young age, and instead, Tashi turns to stab Dark. Witnessing her son about to be killed, Dark's mother bravely strikes Tashi from behind and flees the scene. Tashi, who manages to get back on his feet, orders his henchmen to chase after Dark and his mother. After a prolonged chase, Dark's mother hides him behind a wall while she herself is caught by Tashi and his henchmen. Tashi mercilessly tortures Dark's mother while his father, the highest-ranking Yakuza leader, arrives. Instead of stopping Tashi, he is furious because he almost lost Tashi to Dark's mother. The father then kills Dark's mother in front of Dark, who is still in hiding. 26 years later, the scene shifts to America, showing a man who has just been released from prison, revealing that he is an adult Dark. He has grown into the most ruthless hitman in America. Dark shouldn't have been released from prison as he was caught killing a mafia boss, but he was freed by a police detective named Lafik who seeks Dark's help. When Lafik tries to talk to Dark, he refuses, fearing that Lafik might just be setting him up. Dark chooses to leave by taking a bus. After getting off the bus, Dark visits the headquarters of a drug dealer, his enemy from before he was imprisoned. Without much talk, Dark slaughters them all. Afterward, Dark takes their money and then rents an apartment on the outskirts of town. A few hours later, he is visited by a woman from the neighboring apartment. She asks for Dark's help because her groceries fell. They introduce themselves, and it's evident the neighbor likes Dark. Dark then excuses himself and returns to his apartment. However, as he's about to enter, he notices an envelope under the door. Upon opening it, he finds several photos of his late mother and a tablet containing a video of his mother being tortured by Tashi, the son of the highest-ranking Yakuza leader in the past. The envelope also contains an address asking Dark to come to a cafe tonight. Dark, still harboring resentment towards Tashi and other Yakuza members, takes the address and goes to the cafe mentioned. In short, Dark arrives at the cafe only to find out that it was Lafik, the police detective, who sent the envelope. Lafik explains that Tashi and his associates have been in America for the past 2 years, causing trouble wherever they go. Lafik's intention in freeing Dark from prison was to ask for his help, knowing that Dark holds a deep grudge against Tashi and his henchmen. Tashi also intentionally kidnapped Lafik's daughter to prevent the police from interfering. Lafik promises to pay Dark any amount if he agrees to save Lafik's daughter and eliminate Tashi and his henchmen. Only a hitman like Dark can be relied upon by Lafik at this moment, as relying on the police would risk the life of Lafik's kidnapped daughter. Dark accepts Lafik's offer, especially since Dark's mother was killed by Tashi and his men. Then, Lafik informs Dark of Tashi's current headquarters, and Dark can attack them starting tonight. Shortly after, Dark is accompanied by Lafik to Tashi's headquarters, but on the way, they accidentally witness Tashi's son about to fight with a local motorcycle gang. Here, Dark has an idea to help Tashi's son so that he could later be promoted to a Yakuza member. This way, Dark would find it easier to eliminate them one by one. After Lafik agrees, Dark immediately intervenes and assists Tashi's son in the fight. After successfully defeating the motorcycle gang, Dark's plan goes smoothly as Tashi's son expresses gratitude to Dark and invites him to dinner. They get to know each other, and it's revealed that Tashi's son's name is Shijuru. Shijuru explains that his father is Tashi, the Yakuza leader in America, and his grandfather is the highest-ranking Yakuza leader in Japan. Shijuru wants Dark to become his personal bodyguard, and he is willing to pay whatever salary Dark desires. Naturally, Dark agrees to Shijuru's request. The next day, when Dark is in his apartment, he is invited for pizza by his neighbor. Shortly after, Dark is contacted by Shijuru, asking him to come to the provided location. Finally, Dark arrives at the location, where he is ordered to eliminate the remaining motorcycle gang members. To maintain his cover, Dark immediately follows Shijuru's orders. After successfully killing all the motorcycle gang members, Shijuru is highly impressed by Dark's reliability. Then, Shijuru invites Dark to meet his father Tashi, as well as to introduce Dark as the newest member. Upon arrival, Shijuru asks his father Tashi to accept Dark because he has been very helpful. Moreover, Shijuru also wants Dark to be appointed as his personal bodyguard because he is very impressed with Dark's skills. Upon hearing this, Tashi does not immediately agree because they cannot recruit just anyone. Tashi wants Shijuru to first gather detailed information about Dark, as he suspects Dark might be an enemy in disguise. However, due to Shijuru's persistence, Tashi eventually agrees to appoint Dark as Shijuru's personal bodyguard. That night, Shijuru takes Dark to his father Tashi's nightclub. There, Dark accidentally meets a female dancer who seems familiar to him. Eventually, Dark realizes that she is his past acquaintance named Lisa. Suddenly, he is ambushed by Yakuza members, Tashi's henchmen. With relative ease, Dark manages to incapacitate them all. It turns out the attack was deliberately orchestrated by Tashi to test Dark's fighting abilities. After witnessing Dark's prowess, Tashi finally believes that Dark is worthy of being his son Shijuru's bodyguard. Then, Tashi takes Dark to his private room to sign the contract. However, after Dark leaves, Tashi is still not 100% sure about him. He immediately sends his right-hand man to gather detailed information about who Dark really is. The next day, Tashi's right-hand man approaches Lafik, the detective, and asks Lafik to find detailed information about Dark. He also threatens to kill Lafik's kidnapped daughter if Lafik refuses to comply. Lafik pretends not to know Dark and promises to gather information about him. On the other hand, Dark meets his childhood friend named Lisa. Here, Lisa asks why Dark joined the Yakuza. Dark doesn't answer. He only pleads with Lisa not to reveal his identity to Tashi. Then, Dark asks why Lisa is working with them. Lisa replies that she does it to repay her parents' debt to Tashi. Later in the afternoon, Dark accompanies Shijuru to visit one of the Chinese mafia's restaurants. It turns out the restaurant is just a front, and the real business is drug trafficking. Shijuru immediately massacres the Chinese mafia's henchmen for daring to sell drugs in his territory. However, the Chinese mafia manages to escape, so Shijuru only takes all the money there. Then, Shijuru and Dark return to Tashi's nightclub to deposit all their earnings for the day. There, Dark takes the opportunity to meet Lisa, his childhood friend, and tells her that he is looking for a girl named Ren Levi, Lafik's daughter. Lisa responds that the girl is kept under tight guard, so it's unlikely that Dark can find her. Eventually, Dark asks for Lisa's help to inform him if she gets any information about Lafik's daughter. The next day, Dark meets Lafik. Here, he is in a panic because he hasn't been able to save Lafik's daughter yet. Lafik is afraid that Dark's cover will be blown before he can rescue his daughter. Dark reassures Lafik to stay calm because he will do his best to handle it as soon as possible. That night, Lafik hands over fake data about Dark to Tashi's right-hand man. Of course, Lafik has falsified the data to prevent Dark's cover from being blown. At the same time, Dark is infiltrating Tashi's private residence and easily eliminating each of his henchmen. Dark manages to take down Tashi's henchmen and then confronts Tashi, who is in his room. Dark immediately shoots Tashi in the leg, and in pain, Tashi asks who Dark really is. Dark responds that he is the son whose mother was killed by Tashi in the past. Then, Dark asks about Lafik's daughter, the detective, who has been hidden by Tashi. Dark promises to spare Tashi if he reveals the whereabouts of Lafik's daughter. However, Tashi refuses to speak and instead reveals that Dark's mother was often tortured by him. Naturally, Dark becomes enraged and eliminates Tashi this way. Shortly after, Lisa comes out of the bathroom after satisfying Tashi. Here, Lisa is shocked to see Tashi has been killed by Dark. Lisa will surely be accused of the murder because she was the last person with Tashi. Dark is forced to knock Lisa unconscious so that later the Yakuza members would think that Tashi and Lisa were attacked together. The next day, as usual, Dark goes about his activities by visiting the Yakuza headquarters. However, there, Dark is immediately confronted and beaten by the Yakuza members because he is suspected of killing Tashi. A few minutes later, Dark is being interrogated by Tashi's right-hand man and his henchmen. Here, the right-hand man asks Dark to confess because he is very confident that Dark is the one who killed Tashi. Fortunately, Shigeru suddenly arrives and asks the right-hand man to release Dark. Shigeru is very angry because the right-hand man accuses Dark without evidence. Finally, Dark is released thanks to Shigeru's intervention, even though Dark is the one who actually killed Tashi. The next day, Tashi's father, the highest leader of the Yakuza, or Shigeru's grandfather, arrived. Here, the grandfather called Shigeru and Tashi's right-hand man to discuss Tashi's death. The right-hand man continued to suspect Dark, but Shigeru kept defending Dark. Ultimately, the grandfather ordered both of them to find strong evidence regarding his son's death. Shigeru immediately approached Detective Lafique and forced him to find out who had killed his father. Shigeru threatened to kill Lafique's daughter, who they still had kidnapped, if Lafique didn't find the culprit within 24 hours. Lafique then revealed that he actually knew that the one who had killed Tashi was the rival Chinese mafia. Upon hearing this, Shigeru immediately went to visit the headquarters of the Chinese mafia. Several hours later, Shigeru proudly returned with a box that he handed to his grandfather. When opened, the box contained the head of the recently assassinated Chinese mafia member. Shigeru claimed that this person was the one who had killed his father. At the same time, the grandfather was given an important file by his advisor. The contents of the file were Dark's original data, leading the grandfather to realize that Dark was the son whose mother they had killed. In addition to the success of the right-hand man interrogating Lisa, Dark's childhood friend, with threats to kill her family, Lisa finally confessed the truth. That night, the right-hand man contacted Lafique, instructing him to come alone to the pier as they would hand over Lafique's daughter. Quickly, Lafique went and informed Dark about it. Upon hearing the news, Dark immediately followed Lafique. Upon arrival, they saw Lafique's daughter already prepared for execution. Lafique, unwilling to accept it, tried to fight back, but ultimately met a tragic end. All of this was done because Lafique had collaborated with Dark. Shortly after, Dark arrived and eliminated one by one the remaining Yakuza members there. Then, Dark rescued Lafique's daughter, who turned out to be Lisa, her childhood friend behind the mask. Lisa apologized for being forced to reveal everything. Elsewhere, Shigeru came to Dark's apartment to finish him off because he felt betrayed by him. However, when Shigeru arrived, he didn't find Dark, only Dark's neighbor. Assuming that the neighbor was Dark's wife, Shigeru immediately attacked her. Shortly after, Dark arrived and promptly dispatched Shigeru's henchmen. Shigeru threatened to kill the neighbor, so Dark had to surrender. After Dark surrendered, Shigeru still killed the neighbor. A while later, Shigeru took Dark to the execution site in his car. However, midway through the journey, Dark went berserk, and here's what happened. Dark easily managed to kill everyone in the car, except for the dying Shigeru. Dark grabbed the katana from inside the car and finished off Shigeru with it. Dark, still holding a grudge against the grandfather, the supreme leader of the Yakuza, immediately went to their headquarters and slaughtered each member of the Yakuza one by one. After a prolonged battle, Dark managed to enter the room of the Yakuza grandfather. Unfortunately, the Yakuza grandfather had Princess Lafique at gunpoint and demanded that Dark disarm himself. The grandfather gave Dark two choices: either Princess Lafique dies or Dark himself is killed. Dark quickly grabbed a knife, and here's what happened next. The Yakuza grandfather, thinking Dark was exhausted, approached him and tried to shoot, but suddenly Dark stabbed the Yakuza grandfather with the knife. In the end, the Yakuza grandfather was killed, and all of Dark's vengeance was avenged, and Princess Lafique was saved. However, Dark collapsed due to blood loss. Fortunately, Princess Lafique was a nurse and provided first aid to Dark, ultimately saving him. Then the film ends.